In the middle of the desert night, silence carried a strange weight. The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas above, a million diamonds, shimmering as if untouched by war. But on the ground, beneath that vast sky, a team of Navy SEALs laid pinned against jagged rocks. The dust clung to their faces, sweat dripped into their eyes, and the rattle of enemy fire echoed off the canyon walls. They had been out here longer than they expected, their mission complicated by a swarm of insurgents who knew the terrain too well. Ammunition was running low. Every man could feel the pressure in his chest, not from fear, but from the knowledge that they were outnumbered, outgunned, and dangerously close to being overrun. Their commander, a broad-shouldered man with piercing eyes named Miller, kept his voice steady over the comms. Hold positions. Reinforcements are not coming. We only have one option left. The men listened, hearts pounding. They knew what he meant. An airstrike, the last resort. The request was sent. Coordinates relayed. The team dug deeper into the rock, waiting. The firefight intensified. Red traces streaked across the night sky, snapping past inches from their helmets. Dust clouds rose with every impact, and the smell of gunpowder clung to the air. The SEALs braced themselves. Then the distant growl of engines began to cut through the chaos. At first, faint, like thunder rolling beyond the horizon. Then louder, sharper, until the night seemed to vibrate. One of the SEALs, blood trickling from a graze on his arm, squinted into the darkness. That's not a jet. It wasn't. It was something different, something heavier. The low, steady roar was unmistakable to anyone who had ever heard it before. A-10 Thunderbolt II, the Warthog, and it wasn't just any pilot flying it tonight. It was her call sign, Valkyrie, a name spoken with equal parts. Respect and awe in circles where life and death were a daily gamble. She was known not for her bravado, but for her precision, her calm, and her strange ability to turn chaos into silence. SEALs watched as the beast emerged from the night sky, its iconic shape cutting through the starlight, wings white and cannon gleaming. She dipped once, marking her presence, then disappeared again into the black. Seconds later, the first explosion erupted. It was as if the earth itself had cracked open. Enemy trucks went up in flames, their silhouettes twisting against the fire. Mortar positions vanished in an instant. Every strike was deliberate, calculated, and surgical. The GA Avenger cannon, capable of spitting 3,900 rounds per minute, didn't roar as the SEALs expected. Instead, through their headsets, they only heard her calm voice. Targets acquired. Stay low. Oh, clear the path. The ground shook one after another. Enemy positions fell. Fighters scattered. Their screams drowned by the shock wave that rolled through the canyon. But for the SEALs, time slowed. They weren't watching destruction. They were watching artistry. Every target they had marked, every danger they couldn't reach was erased in silence. She flew low, impossibly low, skimming the ridge like a phantom. The jet's nose dipped. Fire spat, and within seconds, another threat was gone. Eagle Team. Her voice crackled, steady as stone. You're clear to move. Corridor open. The SEALs looked at each other, stunned around them. The battlefield had transformed from a death trap to an open exit. Smoke rose in thick plumes, orange fires lighting the night, but there was no return fire. Nothing left to fight. The silence was almost haunting. One of the younger operators muttered, "I've never seen anything like this." Miller smiled, faintly beneath the dote on his face. "That's because you've never flown with, huh?" The team pushed forward, keeping low, slipping through the cleared passage he had carved for them. Above, the Warthog circled like a guardian, angel, watching, waiting, ensuring no ambush would catch them in retreat. Even in the chaos of battle, her control was absolute. As they reached the extraction point, the helicopter's rotors chopping. The night air, Miller turned his eyes. Upward once more. The A-10 dipped its wings. A silent farewell. No theatrics. No celebration. Just duty fulfilled. She didn't need applause. Her work spoke, louder than any words ever could. The SEALs boarded, battered, but alive. As the helicopter lifted, they looked down at the battlefield. It was unrecognizable from the nightmare it had been only minutes before, where chaos had ruled. Now there was silence, stillness, and the mark of someone who had fought not for glory, but for those on the ground who needed her most. Back at base later that night, one of the younger SEALs asked Miller the question that had been burning inside him. Who is she really? Miller's eyes softened and he leaned back, remembering countless missions where her voice had been the difference between life and death. She's the one who fights wars differently. She doesn't just drop bombs. She saves lives. That's why we call her Valkyrie, because when she arrives, death runs the other way. The room fell into silence, the weight of those words settling over them all. They knew they had witnessed something that few ever would. Not just a pilot, not just a plane, but a force of nature. And for those who lived to tell the tale, it would remain etched in their memories forever. So when the next mission came, when the odds stacked against them once again, the SEALs didn't ask for luck. They asked for her, because sometimes in the darkest nights, salvation doesn't come in the form of prayer or chance. Sometimes it comes with the sound of engines rolling across the stars and the silence that follows when every target is gone. Like, comment, and subscribe.